Chosen one. Listen carefully. This message is not random. It didn't find you by accident. It reached you because something inside your life is shifting. Even if you can't fully explain it yet, there is a reason you've been feeling uncomfortable with certain people. There is a reason some places no longer feel safe for your soul. There is a reason the things that once excited you now feel empty. This is not confusion. This is not loss of interest. This is not depression. This is the Holy Spirit guiding you away from a path that was slowly draining your destiny. Sometimes God doesn't speak with thunder. Sometimes He doesn't shout through miracles. Sometimes He simply removes the peace from what is wrong, so you no longer feel at home in what is not aligned. And that discomfort you've been feeling lately, that restlessness in your spirit, that sudden awareness that something isn't right, that is guidance. You see, the Holy Spirit rarely pushes. He gently redirects. He doesn't force you. He reveals. He doesn't control. He awakens. And when the Holy Spirit begins to work in your life, the first thing He touches is not your situation. He touches your perception. You start seeing people differently. You start hearing words differently. You start feeling energy differently. Things that once felt normal now feel heavy. Things that once felt exciting now feel dangerous. Things that once felt safe now feel spiritually loud. Not because the world changed, but because you did. The Holy Spirit is sharpening your discernment. And discernment is not judgment. It is awareness. It is spiritual vision. It is the ability to sense what your eyes cannot see. Before you walked blindly, you tolerated disrespect. You ignored red flags. You made excuses for people who were slowly pulling you away from your purpose. But now, you feel it instantly. Something feels off. Someone feels wrong. A conversation drains you. A place feels heavy. A habit feels empty. That's not overthinking. That's not fear. That's alignment. Because when the Holy Spirit enters your life deeply, He doesn't just guide you toward blessings. He guides you away from destruction. Not every wrong path looks dark. Some wrong paths look attractive. Some wrong paths feel comfortable. Some wrong paths are filled with laughter, money, attention, and approval. But the Holy Spirit sees the ending, not just the beginning. He sees what that relationship would cost you. He sees what that environment would do to your mind. He sees what that habit would slowly steal from your soul. He sees what that opportunity would require you to sacrifice. And instead of punishing you, He protects you by removing your appetite for it. That's why you're changing. That's why you're outgrowing. That's why you're no longer interested in what used to excite you. Because you're not being rejected. You're being redirected. There is a version of you that God is preparing. A stronger version. A clearer version. A wiser version. A spiritually grounded version. And that version cannot survive on the old path. The old path required you to shrink. The old path required you to pretend. The old path required you to numb yourself. The old path required you to compromise your truth. But the new path requires alignment. It requires integrity. It requires awareness. It requires obedience. And obedience doesn't always feel logical. Sometimes it feels lonely. Sometimes it feels confusing. Sometimes it feels like loss. But spiritual loss is often physical protection. You didn't lose those people. They lost access to you. You didn't lose that season. You outgrew it. You didn't miss that opportunity. You were saved from its consequences. The Holy Spirit is not just guiding your steps. He is guarding your future. That's why certain doors closed without explanation. That's why certain plans failed unexpectedly. That's why certain relationships ended suddenly. That's why certain dreams dissolved quietly. Not because God forgot you, but because God saw what you couldn't. There are paths that look right but end in exhaustion. There are choices that feel good but leave you empty. There are connections that feel intense but slowly poison your peace. And the Holy Spirit will never let you build a destiny in a place that will destroy you. Sometimes guidance feels like isolation. Sometimes protection feels like rejection. Sometimes alignment feels like loss. But what you call loss, He calls pruning. And pruning is not punishment. Pruning is preparation. The Holy Spirit cuts what no longer serves your growth. Not because it's bad, but because it's no longer right for who you're becoming. You're not meant to stay where you were. You're not meant to repeat old cycles. You're not meant to live on autopilot. You're being awakened. That inner voice you've been hearing lately. That gentle resistance before making certain decisions. That sudden clarity about people's intentions. That's not your imagination. That's spiritual intelligence. Because the Holy Spirit doesn't just speak in words. He speaks in feelings, in instincts, in sudden awareness, in emotional shifts. He speaks through peace, and he speaks through the absence of peace. If something no longer gives you peace, it's no longer for you. And this is where many people get confused. They think peace means comfort, but peace actually means alignment. Comfort can exist in destruction. Peace only exists in truth. That's why some of you are walking away from things that still look good on the outside, but feel wrong on the inside. Your spirit already moved ahead of your mind. And when your spirit moves first, your life follows later. This is why you feel like you're in between. Not who you used to be, not yet who you're becoming. You're in the transition phase, the spiritual crossing, the inner realignment, and the Holy Spirit is doing quiet work behind the scenes, removing attachments, breaking emotional dependencies, exposing illusions, strengthening discernment, rebuilding your identity. You're not lost, you're being recalibrated, and recalibration feels uncomfortable because it changes direction. You're not falling apart, you're being repositioned. And here's the truth most people never realize. The Holy Spirit doesn't guide you to comfort first. He guides you to clarity first, then to peace, then to purpose, then to provision. That's the order. Clarity before comfort, truth before happiness, alignment before abundance. That's why the wrong path always feels easier in the beginning, and the right path always feels heavier at first. Because the wrong path feeds the ego. The right path feeds the soul. The wrong path gives instant pleasure. The right path gives long-term fulfillment. The wrong path makes you popular. The right path makes you powerful. And the Holy Spirit is not interested in making you liked. He's interested in making you aligned. Because alignment creates authority, and authority creates impact. And you were not born for average impact. You were not created for small influence. You were not designed for a quiet destiny. You carry something bigger. That's why the Holy Spirit is so intentional with your journey. He won't let you blend in. He won't let you settle. He won't let you remain unaware. He keeps interrupting your patterns. He keeps shaking your routines. He keeps exposing what no longer fits. Because the future version of you cannot be built on the habits of the past. And this is where part 1 ends. You are not being punished. You are not being delayed. You are not being rejected. You are being guided. The Holy Spirit is gently, patiently, silently leading you away from what would have destroyed your destiny, and toward what will finally fulfill your soul. And now listen very carefully, chosen one. When the Holy Spirit starts guiding you away from the wrong path, the final test is always this. Can you trust what you feel, even when you don't understand what you see? Because the mind wants proof. The ego wants explanation. The heart wants comfort. But the spirit only needs alignment. That's why sometimes God will remove people without giving you closure. He will end situations without giving you answers. He will break connections without giving you reasons. Not because you don't deserve an explanation, but because explanations keep you emotionally attached. And attachment is the only thing that can pull you back to what you already outgrew. The Holy Spirit is teaching you how to walk by faith, not by familiarity. You're learning how to release without bitterness, how to move forward without resentment, how to trust without control. And that is spiritual maturity. Because the real miracle is not getting what you want. The real miracle is becoming who you were meant to be. Some of you thought you were losing everything, but in reality, you were losing what was blocking everything. Blocking your peace, blocking your growth, blocking your calling, blocking your clarity, and now slowly, quietly, gently, you're starting to breathe again. You feel lighter, you think clearer, you react less, you tolerate less, you settle less, not because life became easier, but because your spirit became stronger. The Holy Spirit didn't change your world. He changed you, and when you change, everything around you must respond. That's why new people will start finding you. That's why new opportunities will start aligning. That's why new ideas will start flowing. That's why new confidence will start rising. Not forced, not chased, not begged for, but attracted, because alignment attracts what effort never could. You're no longer operating from wounds. You're operating from wisdom. You're no longer reacting from fear. You're responding from faith. And faith is not believing everything will be easy. Faith is knowing everything is meaningful. Even the endings. Even the losses, even the silence, even the waiting, especially the waiting, because waiting is where your character was built. Waiting is where your ego was broken. Waiting is where your discernment was sharpened. Waiting is where your spirit was trained. So if you're in a season where things feel slow, quiet, uncertain, don't panic. This is not stagnation. This is preparation. The Holy Spirit is not delaying you. He is positioning you for peace you've never felt, for clarity you've never had, for purpose you've never walked in, for alignment you've never experienced. And one day soon, you will look back and realize what you thought was rejection was actually redirection. What you thought was loss was actually protection. What you thought was confusion was actually divine guidance. And you'll finally understand why certain doors never opened, why certain people never stayed, why certain dreams never worked. Because the Holy Spirit was guiding you away from the wrong path and toward the life your soul always deserved. So if this message found you, take it as confirmation. You are not lost. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where God needs you to be. And the path ahead, it's not easier, but it's real. It's aligned. It's protected. It's yours. Stay connected, stay faithful, stay aware. Because the Holy Spirit is not done with you yet. This was only the beginning.